And we are live. Howdy, folks. What's going on tonight? This is the Outlaw again. Before we get too far into this, let's go into the YouTube side and see what's going on over there. We have Midnight, of course. Midnight, how you doing? We have Gary, John Z. Who else is out there? We ain't got a big crowd out there. See, Grim. Grim's always here, and we're glad to have him. And over on the Gun Channel side, we have Gary again, Night Strike, Scott, Cycle Camp, Ringo, John Z, Native Guns, Clover. How you doing, Clover? And the Pants. We can never have a show without the Pants. And my guest tonight is Steve ManLey from Plantation Iron. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. All things considered. Um, I was in Steve's shop. Well, it's been about 2 weeks ago now, right? Week and a
Yeah,
half, 2 weeks ago.
about 2 weeks.
And yeah, I went in there and I picked up my rifle, and I was impressed to say the least. Um, you walk through the door of any shop, and the first thing you want to feel is welcomed, and I felt welcomed. Him and Bob made sure that they knew I was there, and they was instantly communicating with me. Hi, how you doing? How's things? That's the way you run a business. That's the way you do it, Steve.
The customer's what keeps us going.
Well, yeah. Well, I say the same thing about my subscribers. If without them, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So, and I love them, everyone, and they know it. We give each other hell, but it is what it is, man. How long have you been in business?
Opened the store in April of 2012, actually on Hilton Head for a year, and moved out to Bluffton March of 2013.
And what finally made you to pull the trigger and open up a gun shop?
Uh, Looking for something to do that I had some knowledge and skill and really enjoyed doing that was nothing affiliated with what I was doing previously.
And what was up?
I worked for the county of Beaufort in South Carolina as a paramedic.
I could see why that'd be a bit stressful.
Yeah, it's a nice stress relief to come, as they say. I don't really like the term, but get to play with guns. It definitely is nice when you have different things walk through the door every day. Some things you don't normally see, some things you have never seen. So it makes it interesting.
What's the rarest thing that's ever come through your shop?
Uh, I had a gentleman that brought in two sequential numbered uh, Colt Navy pistols that were factory cutaways for. I'm trying to remember which military academy it was, but they were 1851, or I think it was 1850. Shoot, I can't remember off the top of my head. Civil War era pistols that were factory cutaways for training, and they were probably valued somewhere between $70,000 and $90,000, I think. Uh,
Wow. Now, when I was in there the other day, I seen you had a M1 sitting on a little rack in the floor there. If I'd have had the money, I'd have walked out with that one.
yeah,
She's a nice piece.
yeah. I get some eclectic pieces in there from time to time. That you're referring to as an H&R M1 post war, but it's a really clean gun in good shape. That's what I said when I get stuff that walks in the door just unexpectedly. I think this gentleman brought in 14, 15 guns that he was getting rid of, and sometimes that just happens. You get people that their kids don't want the headache, and sometimes somebody needs the money, so they bring it up to us, and we're one of the few stores in the area that does buy used guns.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people can't afford to buy new, so used is a great option for especially people on a budget. Um, and from what I've seen, you got a great little selection there.
We try
Heck,
we try to keep it try to keep a variety. I do like the older style guns, but there are the purists that like the older stuff, the war guns, the Civil War black powder guns, everything like that. And we try to carry a little bit of everything. Uh, Sometimes it stays around a while. Sometimes it leaves the day after you get it. But it's fun, man. I enjoy it a lot. I get to see, like I said, stuff that you know some things I've never seen in my lifetime. Sometimes it's just common guns that they're out there all the time.
yeah, I got a buddy over on Gun Channels, which is a group that I'm involved in, gunchannels.com, Cycle Camp, and he's into old military guns. And right now he's working on a collection of American military rifles, and he's just all into it. And he's a wealth of knowledge on the subject. I mean, I sit, and not just American guns by any means. Me and him sat in a chat one day, I guess for an hour and a half, and he was going over an infield that he had bought. Man, and me personally, I love the 0303 infields. Um, so I'm all about some old military surplus rifles. Always have been. And the
Yeah,
handguns, man. The big thing here lately has been the Star BMs making a huge comeback.
you get a lot of those rifles that World War One, World War Two, that sat around in Grandpa's closet, and the kids remember, either Grandpa taking it out and showing it to them, or telling them a story about it, or they read a little information on it, um, and it makes them want to do a little more reading, find out a little bit more about the handgun or long gun that Grandpa was, you know, fighting with or talking about. And it makes it really, really interesting when you can put your hands on it, especially when like some people, as you were talking about your friend there, that gets to deal with some nice quality, uh, World War One, World War Two rifles, and
Um,
we get those as well, which
he
is
he just he just sent me a question to you. Do you get your meal surplus in the original condition, or are they mostly sporterized? I'm sure you get a bunch of both.
I do. I had the thing that really got me started initially was I had a friend whose um, uh, his father passed away, and he had about 60 or 70 guns. Out of those 60 or 70 guns, probably 45 or 50 were war guns. Out of those 40 plus war guns, they were probably most of them were long guns, and maybe four or five had been sporterized. But the majority of those initially that came to me were uh, factory fresh, as I call them. I mean, some still had cosmoline, some still had caps on the end of the barrels. Uh, they still had the cleaning kits and the butt stocks and stuff like that. And you kind of take it for granted when you initially see it because you don't really appreciate it. But then once they're gone, you kind of wish you like maybe held on to it.
Yeah, well, see that's my problem. I'd always something would come in and catch my eye, and I'm like, do I really want to sell this one, or do I want to keep it for myself?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, if it was that way, I would probably be broke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't keep them and make money. That's for sure.
No, I had at one time I was telling somebody I had 43 guns, which it's not really a lot, but it's a lot for some people that I owned, and nothing really really extraordinary, just stuff that I grew up with or acquired when I was younger. And I just had to ask myself at one point, I don't really have room for storage. This is before I got in the gun business. Do I need 27 different calibers of 23 different guns or whatever? And uh, so that's kind of where I learned about guns as far as you know, values and sales and taking them apart. I don't do a lot of machining at my shop. We do more, cleaning, siding. I have a gentleman who comes up there quite regularly who is very, very knowledgeable on military weapons. So if anybody, I can't say if I can answer a whole lot of questions detailed for military, but he does a lot. So if so, you can email me if it's okay to give that out online at
Oh,
plantationiron@gmail.com.
go right ahead, man.
And I will
In
be
fact,
more happy to, if I don't know the answer, to find out for you.
if you can type the link down in the side chat here, I will post it.
Well, now you're asking me to do something again that I may not be able to do.
Hold on a minute.
Oops. And there I go.
Plantation Iron, you said?
Plantationiron@gmail.com.
I'll tell you what I'll do. That right?
All right.
That should be it.
All
What
right.
I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it on the YouTube side and on the gun channel side, and we'll get you taken care of.
Okay. If anybody is looking for anything or has any specific needs, feel free to call me, please, or email me. I'll be glad to help you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are all about that around here. Now, what else are you into? Do you do any hunting, competition shooting?
I don't have a whole lot of time to hunt anymore. Between working for the county, which I do at 24-hour shifts, then I get off from there, come in the next morning. So the next 2 days is spent at the gun store. And then it's just that vicious cycle of every 3 days. The only day I usually get off is a Sunday. And I haven't really had much time to go hunting. I do love to hunt. My two favorite things are hog hunting, which I grew up doing as a kid, and bird hunting.
Now, I've never done any bird hunting, and only went hog hunting once and never seen a hog.
Well,
I don't know how that happens, but
somebody else did a better job at it than you did the first time.
yeah, apparently. So what's your go-to caliber when it comes to hogs?
I hunted for years and years when I was, let's see, 16, 17 years old. I hunted with a Winchester lever action 44 Magnum.
There you go.
And
I know that there are some people listening to this right now with a smile on their face from ear to ear. we have some serious 44 lovers around here.
well, good. Tell them to come see me. I got a nice silhouette, 10 and 5/8 inch barrel Smith and Wesson sitting at the store that they would make them drool.
There you go, folks. Uh, that might make me drool. Actually, what I'm looking at next is that 7-shot Ruger, that GP 100 357.
I got you. Now, I tell you what I did bring is I can't remember the model number. I think it's 327 Smith and Wesson, if I remember correct. It's an 8-shot, 4-inch or 5-inch barrel, 357.
Wow. Yeah. Well, see, I do a lot of fishing, and last year I was down the river and walking the banks trying to do a little catfish and run across a alligator. I guess he's about 10 feet long. Me and him had a come to Jesus meeting. And I had a little 9mm, and I decided that probably just wouldn't be big enough. So
He'll let you know real fast whether it works or don't.
yeah, I was like, I love my 9, but I think when I go back, I want to have something a bit bigger. Um,
Fast bullet, not a powerful bullet.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the big debate around gun channels. We have the 9 millimeter lovers, we have the 45 lovers, and then we have those gender confused people that likes the 40 cal.
I might have to fit in that qualification. When they first came, I had a nice long discussion with the Glock rep, and I've been shooting Glock 23 for I guess 22, 23 years, something like that. Same gun, never had a malfunction, never had a feed problem. Probably the most simple, easiest gun to work on in the world, and I think it draws up pretty good on target. So I can't complain much.
I personally, I'm a 1911 guy. Always have been. Now I do own that 9 millimeter is a polymer, of course, but I just can't get into the Glocks. I've held them, I've shot them, you know, for some reason, I don't like them. Just that
I
simple.
I tell people when they come in the store, um, I said you got to hold the gun in your hand. You got to be comfortable with it. It's got to fit right and everything else. And guns are kind of like cars. Whatever works for one person may not work for the same. Just like a gentleman that wants to bring his wife in there and buy a pistol. I tell him you better bring your wife in there with you because if not, you'll be bringing it back and we'll be buying something else. So whatever fits one person ain't fitting for everybody. That's why they make so many different, brands, calibers, sizes, and everything else.
Yep. Well, let's see. That's a conclusion we came to. We've had this discussion on this show a few times. How do you pick a gun for somebody? Well, you can't. They have to come in. They have to hold it. And shoot it. You have to shoot it. You have to know that, okay, I can hit what I'm aiming at with this. It's comfortable in my hand. I can handle the recoil. And let them make their own decision. You can't make it for them. It's like a hat. Not every hat's going to fit on every head.
Right. We have a drawback there at our store because we don't have accessibility to a range. But what we do offer is on a used gun is a 5-day guarantee. Uh, Not just because you don't like it, it's got to be something wrong with it. But we do offer, if there's a problem with the gun, we will fix it. If it doesn't work, we will fix it. And if that doesn't resolve the issue, then we will trade, something of equal value just to make sure that the customer's happy. So
Mm.
most people that order a new gun usually know more about it than we do. So we just they want to go along that line. That's what we do. We try to make them happy and order what they're looking for. Um, I try real hard not to interject my personal opinion into what somebody wants because everybody likes something different. That's why there are, like I said, you walk into my store and there's two long shelves with you know
Some
probably
very nice handguns.
well I got 60 something different calibers of rifle and shotgun and pistol ammo and everything else. So what works for one doesn't necessarily work for another.
Well, like I said, man. Um, yeah, I appreciate it when I walk into a door of a business and they say, hi, how you doing? What can we do for you? How can we help you? And that's the thing that makes me want to come back. And I've already made my mind up. I had went to other FFLs around here, and I think I told you the story of the one. I'm not going to hand out any names, but I walked in there last year, and I wasn't comfortable in there. It just they didn't seem like they cared that I was there or not. So I'm not going back to a place like that.
There's a lot of stereotypical gun stores out there. Uh, no disrespect to any of them because everybody handles it different. But some people, once you put a gun on their hip, they think that they're more knowledgeable than everybody else, and they're a little bit better than everybody else. We're not better than anybody. We never claim to be. Like I said, it's all about the person that walks in the door. That's what makes that's what makes my rent. That's what pays my bills. That's what takes care of business. So you walk out of there without a gun, basically it's defeated the purpose of me being there. So if you're looking for a gun, that's what I do. If you need help, that's what I do. I don't
Now,
sell.
other than firearms, what else do you sell in there? And
Um,
ammo, of course.
we've got some accessories. The store's not real big, so we don't do a whole lot of accessories. We do carry some magazines of the popular guns that we sell. We do have holsters. We do have some biometric safes. We do, have some zip up pouches, some rifle cases. We do sell scopes and mounts and things like that for the rifles that we do have in stock. So, uh, and the scopes probably run, I don't know, 150 up to $1,500, just depending on what you're looking for. We mainly carry SIG as far as scopes go, but we do carry some others as well. Some Burris. Uh, we do carry some Zeiss and some Swarovski as well.
Yeah. Now, doesn't Holosun make those SIG sights?
I think there are two companies that actually make them, depending on the level and the optic. Uh, but they do a good job. I'm really really happy with the mid and upper end both. I have one on a 308 that I shoot, and it does well. I usually I do a lot of more quality control than than I do quality shooting. I want to make sure that the product that I'm selling is holding up. You know how some of those 30-06s and 308s and 338s can beat the snot out of a scope or a mount, depending on who puts it on. So I always try. I mean, I like the one piece Burris mounts. I like the tactical mounts like that because it's easy to take on, easy to take off, and they're easy to adjust once you fix it to the gun. They work fine. And if you want to take it off and put it on another gun, all you do is just, I usually mark where I mount it, so I have the same setting on each gun, and it works great.
Hold your zero.
Sir?
It'll hold your zero better that
Oh
way
yes,
as
yes.
well. Yeah, I do that. Um, well, you know what? I think it's time we turn this over to the audience and see if they've got any questions for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got anything you'd like to ask, type it out in the chat, and we will be sure to let Steve know. And don't be bashful. You got glad guys out here like Clovertack, and I know he's a bit shy. So, you know, we have to urge him to get out there and ask questions.
Yeah, feel free.
But in the meantime, I've got a primary arms ACSS on my 7.6239, and I love that thing. I love that reticle. Have you seen that reticle?
I have not.
Take a look at it. Man, it's it's windage, elevation, holdover, just anything you would need to get on target is right there in that one little reticle, and I do love it. Um, let's see. Most rare firearm Steve has had in his shop.
Uh, the
I think that would be the navies you were talking about earlier, wouldn't it?
It was probably that would probably be one of them. We do get some really eclectic guns. Like right now, I've got the high standard Model 10, which is the bullpup shotgun. I think they came out in the '60s, late '60s, and actually, I think it was early '60s. Um, and it was way, way, way ahead of its time. It's got a swivel stock on it. It's got a. This one does not have a light or the carry handle, but it. I tell you what, it's if you do a little reading on it, it's the high. I think it's high standard Model 10, if I remember right. Just Google it real quick. but this comes with a book and everything, and it looks like some of the Dragnet pictures. That's how old these things are. It's really, really a cool piece. I don't even know if I want to sell it. I got it back in the safe. I don't even put it out much. It's just really interesting, a nice piece of shooter's history that I like to hold on to. I keep a couple guns aside that I don't really want to sell. One of them being like a Ruger 1022 Magnum, which they only made for a couple years. And it wasn't the greatest gun in the world, but it's probably one of my favorite calibers, and that's why I stick with it. 22 Magnums, I just have always had a fetish for it. I can't tell you why, but it's just probably at the time it's probably one of the cheap. Well, years ago when I was a kid, it's probably one of the cheapest things to shoot. No, now not so much. It's probably the same price range as like a 9mm.
Mm. Bullseye Shooting has a question here. What is the most popular gun at your store, meaning that people are taking to you to sell?
What are they looking for the most?
What he's asking is what are people bringing to you to sell for them? Maybe
We,
consignment. Mm.
we do some consignment. Most of the times we buy. The guns that I probably buy the most pistol wise is probably the Springfield XD.
I had one of those. Good gun.
Mm-hmm. It's a good midline gun. The thing that usually sells that gun to most people is the accessory packs that come with them. You know, the extra mags, the holsters, the, the mag holster, and plus the carrying case. Good gun, good quality. You know, most of those the latter guns were made in Croatia. Um, we sell them in 9mm and 40. Matter of fact, I think I even have a 40 target, and they run somewhere about 379 up to 429. The 45 is
Mm.
a little bit more.
Here's another question. Mr. Manley, do you feel guilty selling Ellis guns knowing his shooting is more crooked than Jimmy Hoffa? That's from Midnight Range TM, our local jackass.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
Feel free to answer though.
oh, I will. His money is green like everybody else's, and he passes a background check. I'm good.
I did pass the background check, by the way, and it was a rather quick process. I was impressed.
Yeah, yeah. That's nothing on my part. Unfortunately, it was just good timing on the call. So I don't. For most people that some people like to go in and do the little NICS check on the computer. I don't do those. I just, to me, like I said, I am not the most computer savvy person in the world, but usually NICS is really, really, especially in the holidays. To me, it seems like they were a lot faster this year than they were last year. And when our what's the word I want to use politely here, notorious salesman of the year, blah blah, was in office.
He who shall be remain nameless.
Yeah, that's when he was there. That's probably about the only time when he would open his damn mouth that we would have a surge in sales. So the way it's going now, things are fine. I mean, usually callbacks are done, you know, unless there's some type of glitch or something. They're usually within a couple of minutes.
I'll tell you what, that gentleman happens to be the greatest gun salesman of the 21st century so far.
Yeah, he's good for
Because, like you said,
about that.
every time he opened his mouth, more guns got sold.
Yeah, it didn't hurt my feelings a bit.
Yeah. Here's another question for you from Cycle Camp. Also, how does the taste of Southern hogs compare with Russian hogs, if you know? I don't
Uh,
think I've ever eaten a Russian hog.
nah, I haven't been drunk enough to do that yet. But thank you for the asking. Does that
Uh,
drink the vodka, or is that the ones that don't drink the vodka?
Knowing Cycle Camp, it's probably both.
I can't answer that question. I can tell you that most of my hunting has been Florida, Tennessee, and Georgia for hog hunting.
Never in Russia.
Not recently that I remember.
Oh Lord. Did you hear the thing that they were doing now in South Carolina about the coyotes? They've actually put a bounty on them.
That is on tag coyotes, which I think the number was pretty low if I remember right.
Yeah,
Uh,
but if you actually get one, they'll give you a free lifetime
life,
hunting license.
lifetime hunting license. That's exactly right. Those are supposedly spayed or neutered animals, my understanding, and they are tagged. And when you report that to the DNR, they have a form you have to fill out and send in, and uh, that takes care of that. That's still money, though. That's free money. That's the way I look at it.
That's the
But
best kind.
I haven't had much time to get out and hunt anything. But I do have a nice hunting rifle. Uh, I just haven't had time to go out and shoot it yet.
Let's see. I'm looking through here and through the chat and see if I see any more questions that I might have missed. Uh, Gary likes your ceiling fan, apparently.
Yeah, it's not on.
Uh, so, what modern guns do you personally own? I know you like the older stuff, but anything modern that really catches your fancy?
I just purchased, which they quit making actually, a Sig P224. They call it an E24 now, I think. I have a friend of mine. She shoots competition, and she turned me on to these guns. It usually comes with a flush mount mag, which I think it holds 12, and then the other one holds 15 or something. I mean, it's so new. I didn't even got it in the box out of the box yet, but it's a real comfortable double stack gun. Again, it's in your favorite caliber, which is 40 caliber, and I like the way they shoot. It's a really nice feeling gun, and it swings back really nice once you hit that trigger. Man, it's easy to zero in. It shoots really really good. I do a lot of Sig. I am a factory rep for Sig. I am a factory rep for Glock, Smith and Wesson. I don't do Colt. I'm trying to get into Kimber right now. Um, uh, Browning I carry, shotgun wise, Winchester, uh, and Remington, both for rifle. I can get just about anything. If I know none of you have been to my store, but if you come in there, I probably have 200, 250 guns. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really not that big. And I try to carry a little of everything over under semi-automatic shotguns, single shots. Um, if there's something you're looking for, we've got low end, mid grade, high end, ultra high end guns. I don't like to stop for a lot of that stuff because it just sits. So anybody has any want, need, or desire for pricing, send me an email, call me. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Well, see, my dream gun is a Chris Vector. They're ugly as sin. I realize that, but for some reason, man, I want one of those guns. Can I afford the gun? No. Do I want the gun? Yes. That's my unicorn right there. If somebody asked me what my unicorn gun was, that would be mine.
There's a lot of nice guns that are coming out that are being reintroduced. Ruger, I just read, I think, is coming out with their PC line again, which is basically it's a magazine fed carbine that shoots 9 millimeter and 40 caliber. Uh, they say it was police carbine. Then some said it was pistol carbine. Was the PC significant stamp on that gun? But they shoot really good. I think they took I'm trying to remember which it was. because they used to make them years ago, back when Ruger had those big old ugly plastic guns, the P-89s and the P-91s and all that stuff. They ran off those magazines, the 94 for the 40. Um, really, really good shooting guns with pistol caliber. So I mean, you can shoot a box. You can get a box of, what do I sell? Blazer brass 115 grain uh, practice ammo. It's like $13 out the door for a box of 50, which I know sometimes people sell it for cheaper, but I try to keep my prices pretty standard. Um, you know, if you see it lower somewhere, give me a call. If I can match it, fine. I'll tell you. If I can't, I'll tell you. Same thing with guns. You know, sometimes there are other places out there that I won't mention that sell online that are cheaper than me. If I can do it, I'll tell you. If I can't, I won't. There's no BS behind it. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about online sales. How do you do that at all?
I actually started out doing gunbroker. When I first started, like I said, I had those, I think it was 60 something guns that I got from a buddy of mine, and then my second customer was like 20 something, and basically all we charged was a percentage of what we sold them for. It was all done under contract, uh, and that's probably what really helped make uh, allowed me to make the move into the retail store was online. But of course, we had guns like we had an MG42 that was demilled. We had a model 1919 box gun that was demilled. You know, all these were belt fed guns that, 8 millimeter and 30-06 that uh, we sold online for crazy money. And this was again was with our lovely uh, commander in chief, as he called himself. But these guns got shipped all over the country that, where it was legal, and it made my job a lot easier when it came to moving a year later to find a store, because of the money that we were allowed, we were able to make because of the online sales. I don't do as much as I'd like to anymore, just because I don't have time. But I'm going to try to get back into it. As a matter of fact, I've got a friend of mine who owns an auction company, and I'm not going to put a plug out yet, but I will in the future. Or if somebody calls and asks me, I can get it for them.
Does
But
that friend happen to live in Hardyville?
no, no, no. This guy actually lives in Bluffton,
Oh,
and
well, there's a little auction house here in Hardyville. I thought that might be who you're talking about.
yeah, he doesn't do that much as far as guns anymore. I don't know why, but this fella does. He does international stuff, and um, you know, we'll see how it goes. It's just another outlet. Um, Once I get old enough to retire or whatever, and I need something to do, then I'll probably have more time to handle stuff like that. Any other questions out there, guys, gals?
I'm looking right now to see if anybody's got anything over on the YouTube side. It scrolls by so fast, it's hard for me to keep up. I'm sure there's a way to slow it down, but let's see. Midnight Range. Let's open a gun shop restaurant. Yeah, midnight. We can open up a gun shop restaurant. We can do that. I have just one question. Where are we going to find a decent cook? Midnight Range calls himself a chef,
I got you.
so we're all up in the air about it. None of us has ever eaten anything he's ever cooked.
Hey, we do a once a year, which usually varies, but we do what's called the Customer Appreciation Day. Usually once a year, sometimes twice a year. Basically, what it is we have, we don't really call it a raffle in the state of South Carolina, but we call it a giveaway. You come in, you buy a plastic soldier. That plastic soldier is numbered. We sell them for $20 a piece, so you are purchasing something. We sell X amount of those until we're done, which is like 50 or 60. And then we have drawings for gun giveaways. If we sell all of these soldiers, we do 2 guns. If it's not, we do 1. Usually once a year, we have free food. We have free sodas. We usually set tents up. We have a couple uh, local people out there, some holster makers and stuff like that out there. Um, I think this year we did Low Country Boil. Last year we did uh, fried chicken. Plus, we have some people bring in desserts. You know, nothing with any seeds. There are pops that goes. Anything that's illegal. It's all good, but it's a good day. We usually have it from like 11 to 4. Um, Again, if anybody wants to follow me on Facebook, just go to Plantation Iron, type that in, friend me. We'll keep it. We'll keep you advised on what's happening. I'm not a big ranter or raver on Facebook. I will help a friend out if they've got something they want to say or show, um, and we will make comments every now and then. Or if some new guns come out, we will show them. We try to abide by the Facebook police, as they call themselves, and not sell guns, but we will put something on there and say contact us if you're interested. So, um,
Yeah, around here we have to deal with the YouTube police,
I understand.
and
It's
they're plentiful.
There's no such thing as freedom of speech. I can promise you. They say so, but they're full of stuff.
Hey, I tell you what, on my show, there's no holds barred. So if you want to say it, let it fly, brother.
I understand.
Uh, we 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 are not too concerned about an f bomb being dropped here or there.
Yeah, I try not to do it, and I try to keep off my soapbox if I can help it. But um, yeah, man, if anybody's out and about, stop in. I've got I can't even tell you how many Remington 1100s, uh, Magnums 12 gauge, 20 gauge. Just sold the last 410 I had, and Remington 1100 had a 28 gauge skeet gun that was really nice. I've got Browning humpbacks. I've got some Benellis. I don't carry new Benelli. I do trade in Solar State purchases. Berettas, I do carry those, and shotguns. I've got some 4 barrel sets. If anybody's a skeet shooter out there, those things taste kind of nasty, so I don't really shoot those a whole lot, but I like to go out and kill them every now and then. Um, Bird guns, rifles. I've got walls of rifles, 22s, 22 250s. I got a real nice bull barrel 22 250 Remington. Uh, I think if I remember right, it was made in the 70s. It's a it's a carved stock. It's not a rolled stock, so it's a real nice gun. And I think it's got an old Weaver trapper scope on it, which is a nice one. So, and I think that gun is right around $1,100 if I remember right. But it's worth it. I mean, it's beautiful.
Now, didn't I see a Tavor on your wall when I was over there the other day?
Yeah, you did. It's still there. 1800 bucks out the door. That includes tax and everything.
Mm. You ever get any scars in there? I think you had one in there the day I was in there.
Yeah, that was mine. That's a scar heavy. I put a ecothermal SIG thermal scope on there. That's my new hog hunting gun if I ever get to go. I got invited to go to Texas, which I still haven't been able to do, and do a little hog hunting. But they're real big in there. They like to they say hog hunt early morning, then go back that afternoon and kill coyotes, and then at night go back and hog hunt some more. It's just like a cycle. Uh, Keeps going and going and going. They can't eradicate those things. It's just crazy. Some of those guys will pay you to do it. The ones that are charging to do it are they're not making any money. I mean, unless you want to fly in a helicopter, but that doesn't really do a whole lot for me.
No, I'd rather keep my feet on the ground personally.
Yeah, it's a gimmick like anything else. Uh, I've I've hunted hogs. Usually, we'd stalk them or go up and sit in the trees. Uh, and I can't say I've flown any to kill anything. I don't even like sitting in tree stands for the most part. Uh, I've deer hunted many years ago, but I don't do it much anymore.
Well, I'm hoping. I was planning on getting out in the woods this year. I just never made it.
Yeah,
So next year, I'm definitely going to be getting out there. There's just so many places around here to actually go hunting. If you don't go, it's pretty much your own fault. So I
there is.
blame nobody but me.
Yeah, where you're out in the country, there's the people a little more friendly and a little more apt to ask you to go hunting.
Well, we are eat up with deer out here. So, you know, the only problem is where I'm sitting, I could probably take a shot, but the neighbors would definitely be complaining.
Yeah, you'd have to put a can on that thing, which is hopefully going to be easier to do within the next year.
Hopefully. Um, what is your opinion about that? The whole Hearing Protection Act.
It's a legal loophole that somebody's trying to fill, which I don't have a problem with. It's an outdated law that was meant mostly in the 30s and the 40s. It was more to do with I guess killing at close range for human to human is where that initiated. The FBI got real big into it. Now with the hunting, and if you go out and hunt hogs, you're going to shoot one in a group, and the rest are going to run away. If you go out and shoot uh, into a group of hogs with a can on there, they may run or move, but they're not usually going to leave, which gives you accessibility to shoot more. So I'm all for it. I think it doesn't hurt. I think with the deer, it's the same thing. Uh, some calibers it helps a lot as far as the noise. Some it doesn't help that much. Uh,
My hunting rifle at this moment is a Wyndham Weaponry 7.62 by 39. I think I mentioned that before. Um, and that's what I'm going to be using to hunt hogs and deer with.
mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason to go out and get anything else because that don't do it. Nothing in the world will.
Hey, there's some good sniper rifles that were made in that caliber. Uh, it's not a bad one. 30 caliber is 30 caliber, right?
Yeah, and it's definitely heavy enough to do the job.
What?
Let's see what we got going on out in the chat real quick here. What in the world are you bunch talking about? Gary loves horsey dovers. What?
Is that the chef again?
No, that's Phoenix talking about Gary, and I'm really not wanting to know where they're going with all that. That sounds scary.
Uh,
Go ahead. Check the gun channel side. It might be a bit safer. And there's absolutely nothing going over on the gun channels. Well. Now, we were talking about the NICS system earlier. What do you think about this whole fixed NICS bill that's trying to work its way through?
as far as
Well, do you really think there's there anything about NICS that it could honestly fix?
yeah, it just they need to update the equipment is the biggest thing. When you go to call in for a background check, usually, um, you know, well, 100% of the time you get a live, person at the other end of it, but uh, sometimes you have to wait. Most times you don't. When you're called in, I've had a couple times to where I've uh, had people get delayed. I wish they would give you a reason for one, so you have a reason to tell the person who's you know there to buy a gun, and second of all, I think they should give you a reason if somebody is denied, which is very few, so you know whether you need to protect yourself or not. Usually, most people who are denied know when they come in the store that they've lied on a 4473, and it's that's a federal crime. If you read the form on the top of the second page, it says that everything you say and have written on this statement is true according to federal law, and if not, so be it. I've had the sled guys come into the store and want information on people who've done that. Some being that they weren't U.S. citizens and implied that they were, and some saying that they were not felons, knowing that they were, and filled out no on the form. So, it's just a piece of paper, but they should be able to check with NCIC and find out.
Well, now you said that you have something coming up, or some kind of get together or something.
Yeah, once a year we do a get together. It's for our customers. We call it a customer appreciation. I put it on our Facebook page. Like I said, we have giveaways, and we can't call them raffles in South Carolina. We just call it giveaways. We have food. We have friends. Every once in a while, we have a group or a individual or somebody out there playing music. We'll have some people out there peddling their wares. It's something that's related to guns or something that we carry. We do have people that teach concealed weapons classes that come out there and register people as well. We teach the classes up usually in-house, but of course, since we have a range, they take them out and shoot them at the private ranges town.
Well, that's information that I'd like to get a hold of myself. I'm looking to take that South Carolina class. I haven't taken it yet.
Right.
So I might have to get with you later on and figure out who I need to talk to take that.
Yeah, it's a one-day class. Just give me a call or email me. I'll be glad to help you out.
I just happen to have your number.
Exactly. Now you do.
I just happen to know where you're located as well. So, you said that you had some holster makers and stuff. Well, if you get a hold of any of these guys and they're willing, I'd be happy to have them on the show at some point in time. Just spread the word.
That would be fun.
No, I'll give them some publicity. Not a problem at all.
Got guys out there that make most in leather, some in kydex, some combined. One fella that I deal with most of the time deals with all leather. He can make custom holsters, but he would need the gun to measure. If it's just a standard, Glock, Sig, whatever, he's got dummy guns. He can trace those. He does alligator. He does leather. He does no exotics, but he will get some alligator in there every once in a while. Most of his holsters in leather run $50 to $70. His alligator ones run $100 to about $140, depending on what it fits. And he does really nice work. His stitching is high quality, and the leather is nice and thick. So he does good work, man. Like I said, I've worked with him for 14 years. He works on the fire side. I work on the ambulance side. But we all have side jobs, and that's what he does. And there's a bunch of people in town that also make kydex, custom holsters and things like that.
Well, like I said, spread the word for me. If they'd like to come on the show and talk about what they do, and we'll get them all together at one time and have us make a show out of it and have a good chat and invite you back, and we'll all have a talk.
Yeah, it's not a problem, man. I'll be glad to help. Anything I can do for anybody, please. Like I said, man, it ain't all about me. It's about you guys. So,
well, We appreciate it too. We
Yeah, any kind of guns you're looking for, man. I know that the one gentleman that was talking about the war guns. I mean that changes daily. I had a beautiful M1 carbine that came through. It was an inland, older inland, all numbers matched. Uh, all stamps and marks and proofs were good on that gun. Um, and I mean, I think I sold that thing for right around $900, which is cheap compared to some of those. That H&R Grand that I have, I think that's right around. I think it's 975, something like that. I mean, just a beautiful gun. It's the wood's good on it. The crown on that thing looks nice and clean. The lands and grooves actually look pretty decent. Um, I get guns in there sometimes that still have cosmoline on them. The odd thing about this area where we live at is, uh, Bluffton, which is really a small town, uh, made up mostly of people from other places, and Hilton Head, which is made up of money. So when those folks, pardon my French, croak or die or whatever, family passes on the gun. I mean, you can see anything and everything. So we get some really, really nice high end stuff if anybody's looking. Plus, we get good mid grade everyday shooters. I had a fellow that had a collection of like 8 Mausers. All of them
Oh man.
beautiful. Oh yeah, they were. I mean, no import marks on them. They were all gorgeous guns. The wood was pristine. Uh, I mean, those things brought really, really good. And that was, another one of my online sales that people like to battle for. Some really nice. I had a real nice Sweet 16 that I brought from a celebrity actually through a broker, and ended up selling that gun. Had a bidding war going on for about $2,500 on this gun, and it wasn't. No celebrity was brought into it. It was just the quality of the gun. So I mean, we get some really, really nice stuff.
Well, folks, I think we're going to bring this one to a close. Steve, buddy, I would love to have you back sometime if you wouldn't mind coming back.
Oh, sure, not a problem. I appreciate everybody out there. Thank you.
You got anything you want to say? Anything you want to plug?
No, just if anybody's looking for anything, uh, extraordinary, ordinary, whatever, give me a call, give me a shout. If I can't find it, I may be able to make some phone calls. I got a lot of contacts uh, all over the place. I mean, I'm not saying it to brag. I'm just saying it because I like guns as much as y'all do. So if there's anything I can help you with, I'll be more than happy to. I'm in it to make a buck, but I ain't in it to make a killing. So if I can help you all out, please let me know.
Well, once again, Steve, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come have this chat with us tonight. I'd like to say thank you to my audience. Please remember to like this video. Please remember to subscribe if you're not, and if you enjoyed the content. And if you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Hey, I'll take what I can get. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe.
Thank you, gentlemen.